in this segment, but I figured the greatest love of all is Tom Brady. So I know you were not surprised at the moves he's making. My favorite part was that he was at the going away press conference for Bruce Arians and the welcome as our new head coach Todd Bowles press conference in the front row, just cheesing from ear to ear. But do you think it's going to work? I mean, is this guy, he's already the Lord of the Rings. Do you think he's getting another one now?
This is the point now where I would be more certain to take the Buccaneers Super Bowl odds because it seems now that Brady is building this organization the way he wants. He is staying in Tampa Bay at least this season. So I would take the Buccaneers Super Bowl odds now because he will be focused on that because he is making such big moves here. He is the one making he was literally the Borat gif of Borat in the hotel room being king in the castle, in the chair. That's what he was doing. As one tweet I saw, the killer always returns to the scene of the crime. He was just seeing Bruce Arians out the door, making sure that this peaceful exchange of power happened for himself. Because he makes these decisions now. He's looking all tan. He's looking trim. He's like, I know I look good, so I'm going to show up and sit in the front row of this. He is unreal. And what I thought with all of this, too, was Belichick looking at Arians like, you are such a newbie. You cannot handle Tom Brady. Because Brady, now we know absolutely Brady was trying to get Belichick out. This is not Brady's first rodeo with trying to get rid of a head coach.
Right.
And Belichick actually got to keep his job. So that was on Robert Kraft. And this is what Brady wanted to happen to Belichick in New England. And Brady instead was the one that left because that's what he wanted. And Belichick is probably the only person Brady has worked with who Brady did not want to work with anymore who kept his job. Because now we see what happens if you do not follow what Brady says. His way or the highway.
Well, listen, I mean, he got Jimmy Garoppolo out of there. That's got to count for something. And
exactly,
I'm with you on the futures for the Bucs. I mean, look, the NFC's just a lot more doable. I mean, you look at Green Bay, they're not going to be the same. The Rams will be fine, but Brady almost beat them, and his whole team was hurt, and he still almost came back and won that game. So I'm with you on Tampa as far as the NFC, but you gave me the perfect segue to the Patriots because now I want to talk about all the teams you love. I mean, do you believe in the Pats that they'll even make the playoffs next season? Because you look at the AFC, Lucy, my goodness gracious, have they re-upped or what? I mean, it is murderer's row in that conference. Do you even think the Pats make the playoffs?
I do not. And that's why, is because the rest of the AFC is an absolute Goliath. And the Patriots, I mean, Devontae Parker, sure, but it's Mac Jones at the helm of this team is a little shaky, and he could have a sophomore slump even more than he did his first year.
Right.
He has not shown that he can live up to the moment in big. I mean, he almost beat Tom Brady when they faced the Buccaneers last season. So there was that, and that's when it kind of turned with Mac Jones. But that last game against the Bills, horrible optics. So they really have to prove themselves. But I am taking way under on their 8.5 win total this season.
Way under?
Maybe 4 games.
Oh, come on, Luce. No way you believe that. You don't believe that.
I don't know. I have to see it to not believe it. I have to see them win to reverse that. I mean, maybe they'll win the first 5 games.
Wait a minute.
But I don't know. They might get off to a very slow start. I don't know how their confidence is right now. It's a little shaky. I don't know. I don't have the confidence in the Patriots that, sadly, Patriots of old used to have.
Well, listen, I get that, Lucy, but listen, come on. They still have Belichick. Their defense is good. They can run the ball. Mac Jones is a game manager. I mean, to me, I'll be honest with you, I almost look at the Patriots. I don't know what the hell their win total is going to be. I'm not buying that 4 wins nonsense. They're going to win more games
Maybe
than that.
3.
I don't know. No way. I'll tell you, my gut, they feel like 7-10, but I you know what I think, Lucy? I think you can make a lot of money betting the Patriots to cover every week because they're going to be underdogs in all these games.
Oh, yes, which is crazy. when was the last time the Patriots could possibly be an underdog in every game of the season that they play?
Right.
And last year in the playoffs, you go into each game thinking, well, they still have Belichick, and look what happened. It was the whole last game against the Bills. I was saying out loud, how is Belichick letting this happen?
Right.
And it's scary to think you cannot trust this team. You can't trust Belichick. The thing Belichick did win in the Brady-Belichick thing is that he still has his job.
Right.
Which is it's insane to look at that now.
So, Lucy, I remember last week when you said this about the Patriots, that you were fading them, and we all looked at each other on video, of course, over our computers.
Was shocked.
Yeah, we were all stunned, like, I can't believe this. So I actually appreciate it, though, because I know you're always hot on your Boston teams when you actually back them, but not always. So with that in mind, now that I've seen you actually fade a team in Boston, if I gave you a number and said 1.5 for championships this year for the city of Boston, because the Bees are playing well. I know you're on the Red Sox, but you're not hot on the Patriots. Would you go over or under a championship and a half?
Oh, I would go over because, because the Bruins are doing phenomenally right now. The Celtics are not in the worst spot after Robert Williams' injury, which was a bit of a disaster of a situation, but it's not the worst. And the guy who got the Celtics banner tattoo for this season, maybe he's not the biggest idiot in the world. So I would say of all the teams, the Celtics, the Red Sox too, I guess. I'm saying Red Sox, Celtics, and Bruins could all win a championship.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm going to go over. Bruins, I'd say, are most likely.
Wow.
Then maybe we'll see how the Red Sox do to start the season, but then it's a toss-up between the Celtics and Red Sox. So I'm going to go over on that.
Wow. Listen to Lucy.
I love it.
Lucy Burdge, and we love Lucy here. Lucy Burdge joining us, host
I
of
love you guys.
Back to the Futures here on the BetQL Network. I'll let Jinx ask you who you like tomorrow night. I just want to get your kind of Final Four recap now that it's over. Coach K's ride's done. UNC Duke. Listen, that game lived up to its hype. I thought it was awesome. Kansas beating Villanova's ass. Just your recap of the Final Four.
I thought it was fantastic. I don't think you could get a better March Madness or now April Madness game than UNC Duke. That the final minutes and seconds of that game were everything you could have ever hoped for in any kind of March Madness situation, but especially at a Coach K final game, which it turned out to be. The announcers were like, oh, it's his final huddle with the team possibly, and it was, which was phenomenal to watch him his career end on a loss. And I am hoping and praying that he does not pull a Tom Brady after the way that game ended and say, you know what, I'm going to come back for another year. And
don't do that.
Don't do that, Lucy. Don't do that.
Please,
don't you put that evil on us.
Don't put it out there.
Don't do that.
He is done and buried. Coach K funeral shirt purchased and ready to go. That was it. He cannot come back. No, I was very happy to see that, and I am all in on UNC now because they were the ones that took down Coach K. So I'm all in.
If Coach K were laying like in state and just as a representative.
Would anybody go?
I don't know. I'd walk by and I'd lean in and I'd go, I'm glad you're gone.
Throw more dirt on that career.
Seriously.
Just shovel it all in.
Hey, you guys need help burying this guy? I'm not doing anything.
You guys are cold bleed.
Like the Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Exactly.
Just call that funeral director and be like, hello, we have another one for you.
Jeez.
Coach K's career.
We're talking to our good friend Lucy Burdge, who is host of Back to the Futures, and you can hear her across all BetQL programming. Okay, Lucy, let's try and focus on people who are living right now, and that is North Carolina and Kansas tomorrow night. Jayhawks laying 4.5 points. Have you chosen a side here yet? I know it's early, but at some point we have to start looking at this and saying, who do we like?
Yes, so I do like UNC, so all in on that. So I might go, but I think it'll be a close game. So I think UNC money line, Kansas -4.
Ooh.
4.5. 4.5.
What,
Kansas spread.
What about the total in the game? Because I think it's going to be a defensive game. So I was saying earlier on the show, I'm going to go under. It opened at 152. It's been bet up to 153. Ooh. Do you see a defensive game, or do you see more like the Final Four games were high scoring. Do you think that continues, or do you think it'll be a defensive game like I do?
I agree with you. I'm going with the under. A lot of times in any kind of championship game, there are also nerves involved. So you never know what can really happen. So I like the under in this one.
Okay, Lucy, if I'm looking at most outstanding player, and I don't have the odds in front of me here, but this is just kind of a shot in the dark of all the guys, all the talent that we have on the floor in New Orleans, who do you think has the best opportunity to come through?
Who is favored?
It's probably got to be it's
Caleb
got to be
Love,
Abaji.
Oh, you think?
We can
PJ, pull that up.
Let's look at these lines.
I would think Caleb Love, after America has watched this guy light up the entire tournament for a month, hit big shot after big shot, be the emotional leader of his team. It's UNC, for God's sakes. That brand, we're not talking about Wichita State here, okay? Thanks. So I would think it would be that guy. I mean, Abaji makes sense as far as being a great player, but just to me, I would think that the odds would favor the guy who's captured America's attention. But I would also think it's between those two players. They both have to be the favorite there. I guess even out of those two, Lucy, if you had to go Abaji or Caleb Love, who would you go while we wait on the odds here?
Well, Caleb Love, but I will say I do like Remy Martin.
Oh,
So
yeah.
That's a good play.
He is on my all-name team. So Remy Martin, I'm going to go with all the way.
I like that. All right, PJ, what are the odds?
The spark plug.
Abaji's the leader, plus 120.
Oh, good call, James.
And then you have Love and Baycott at plus 500. Manic and then Remy Martin, who Lucy likes, both plus 1,000.
Ooh, there's value
McCormick
in
plus
Caleb Love there,
1,500 as
too.
well.
Yeah, there's
10 to 1
value.
on Martin. I like that a lot.
Ooh, I
you're
like
with her?
that. All right. All in.
If you like Kansas and you're looking at a value play, I'm with Lucy on that. I think I'm going to take initially Carolina money line and go for the plus money there. But if you're on the Kansas side and you're looking for value, obviously Abaji's the guy. But Remy Martin is one of those guys who, he's been around for 85 years, but he can turn the tempo of a game into a game that he wants to play. When you saw him against Miami, dude, that guy was unbelievable at controlling the tempo of that game.
How many years has he been around?
85.
He ages well.
God. Wasn't he at Arizona State first, and then he's been around forever.
I guess.
Fine cognac.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if he gets the MVP, you might as well drink some Remy tomorrow night. I mean, why not?
Oh, he'll get sponsorships. Just
Oh, my
crazy. It'd be amazing. I'm Remy Martin for Remy Martin. It doesn't get better than that.
It doesn't. And with NIL now, it's completely legal.
Exactly. If only sports betting was legal in Massachusetts, like that is legal, that would be fantastic.
I think it's coming, Lucy.
Win them all.
It's coming,
hope
right?
so.
I think every state eventually is going to wise up to this, don't you?
I would hope so. For some reason, Massachusetts is stalling on this, and I think it has to do with the lottery and very intricate things that they're worried about. But hopefully by next March Madness, I'm going to say it'll be legal here.
No, I love it. I mean, look, D.C. had the same thing. I think you remember that, Jenks? There were like some issues with the lottery. They figured it out, how to divide the pot, because we both know once you legalize it in your state, it's just printing money at that point. So, they'll figure it out in Massachusetts, and I'm confident that it's coming there. One thing's for sure, we're glad that you come on this show and bless us with your presence. You are the Tom Brady of the show. You are the alpha and the omega.
Wow.
So thank you, Lucy.
That is the highest compliment I could ever get. You guys are the best, and I greatly enjoy talking to you.
Thanks,
There she
Lucy.
is, Lucy.